Hello and welcome back to the chaos that is Shani and Books. Today I am doing another book review, book wrap-up video in the form of a get ready with me because I just like the laid back vibes. We're at a sleepover, we're hanging out together and we're talking about our favourite books. And today I'm discussing some Christmas books and talking about Christmas books while I'm using a full face of elf cosmetics because elf cosmetics and Christmas elves, I don't know, I felt like it fit. Get ready with me while I talk about books. So I'm going to talk about some Christmas books today, and you know I love a theme, so I thought while I do my makeup and talk about Christmas books, I'm going to use all elf products because like elf is a makeup brand and Christmas elves, except I don't have an elf item for every single step. I don't know why I'm making it so hard for myself. Like it's a rule that I created for myself and I'm like apologizing for not sticking to my rule that I made for myself. But anyway, I'm going to start with this. I think I'm like really behind on this trend with the eyebrows, but I'm going to use this elf brow thing. Oh, okay. And if it goes bad, my hair will cover my eyebrows anyway. Do I just, oh, okay. It's sticky. Okay, got it. Oh my God. I think I used too much. I don't think I have the eyebrows to pull off these like feathery brows. Huh. Okay, this is not off to a super great start. I don't love it. In fact, I hate it. I just feel like this. I think I have too much eyebrows for this trend. I don't know. Anyway, so I have read a few Christmas books lately, mostly romances, but I do have one that is a thriller. Why don't we start with that one? I also have a foundation. The foundation section in Kmart, like just the makeup section in general, like it's always half stocked. So I'm pretty certain this is not my color, so this is going to be bad. But thankfully, the concealer I have is too light. So if this is too dark, I can try and even it out. That is 100% too dark. Like 100% too dark. Okay, so I'm going to use the e.l.f. concealer. I'm going to have to like do some strategic mixing. Ugh, I don't know. This is going to be bad. Okay. Okay, so anyway, the book that I'll start off by talking about is called The Family Game by Catherine Steadman, and it is a thriller book that is set around Christmas time. So if you're not a romance reader and you want a Christmassy book, this one might be good for you. We are following this girl who she's never met her fiance's family. His family is like super, super rich, but he hasn't spoken to them in a while. So she's never met them and they are engaged now. And she's going to be meeting them for the first time over this Christmas period. And the fiance is like warning her like, okay, look, they can be really full on. They're a little crazy, which is giving red flags already. But so she eventually meets his family and finds out that they do these Christmas games. And not games like, oh, Secret Santa, buy someone a gift. Like these are games that will quite literally make the participants pee their pants in terror. She also meets the fiance's dad, and when she sees him, her first thought is, oh, my fiance's dad's kind of hot. So then she's constantly thinking about how attractive she finds the fiance's dad, which is not really my vibe in a book. Okay, I went and looked in a different lighting and it does not match, but we're moving on anyway. I've got a bronzer, which e.l.f. had a darker version because the Kmart brand, it was so light. So hopefully this one is all right. I forget what I was saying once again. But yes, she meets the fiance's dad and the fiance's dad tells her, he finds out that she is an author and he gives her this cassette tape, which is maybe an idea for a book or it is maybe a confession to some crimes. So obviously it's a mystery thriller, so I can't continue giving you the plot, but I ended up giving this book like a low 3 stars. Like it was definitely a fast, quick read, but it just got a little bit too unhinged for my liking. And the main character was a little too frustrating to read from as well. It unlocked the weirdest childhood memory. I'm going to tell you it just in case someone randomly can relate. But there was a scene in the book where they're at this big maze and I think it's the fiance that tells the main character, if you ever get stuck in the maze, you put your right hand against the wall and you just keep following and eventually it will lead you out. And that unlocked the weirdest childhood memory of this Ronald McDonald kids movie that I watched. I'll put it on the screen, but that is where I originally had learned that from. I don't think it works with every single maze ever, but they did talk about it in that movie, which is like so random. And the book kind of reminded me of like an adult version of that movie, because in the movie they're like trying to solve all these clues to get to the next stage, and they are kind of solving a lot of clues in this book as well. So it's like, I don't know, it's just a random childhood memory unlocked. But yeah, if you like mystery thrillers, you might like this one for the Christmas time. Personally, it wasn't to my taste, but it was definitely fun, and I'm glad I ended up reading it. All right, I've got blush. Oh my god, look how dark this blush is. I'm so excited to try it. This one's in the colour Maldives, or Maldives if you want to say it like a bogan Aussie. All right, so we'll talk about some romance books. So, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to try this. I feel like I look really different in the mirror than I do to the camera. Anyway, I just finished reading Kiss Her Once for Me. Is that the title? Kiss Her Once for Me. Yeah. By Alison Cochrane. And this one is a sapphic Christmas romance, which love that. I actually have a lot of sapphic Christmas romances on my Kindle ready to go for December. Wow, it looks really bright in the camera. But this one is about this girl who is not doing the greatest financially. She is working at this like coffee shop. She hates her job. She is about to be evicted from her apartment, and the landlord of the coffee shop that she works at, she ends up entering into this arrangement where she is going to fake marry him so that he can get some inheritance. So she goes to meet his family for the first time as his fiance, and she sees that his sister is actually a woman that she had a one-night stand with the previous Christmas, and that she is still very much in love with. And now she is in a fake marriage agreement with her brother. So very messy situation to find herself in. But yeah, I thought it was very fun. My eyebrows are feeling very crusty. I buddy read this one with Michaela from Michaela Reads. I'm going to try this powder. Oh God. And yes, it was a lot of fun to read. I think I'm going to give it like 4 stars maybe. Just because like, I don't know, it was kind of like a miscommunication trope a bit. And you know when there's a miscommunication trope, when the big scene happens where everyone's like revealing the lies, it's just so painful to get through. But I definitely thought it was fun, and I would read more from this author as well. Next, I'll talk about a couple of Christmas romances that I read earlier in the year. I read them in July because I had arcs of them. But the first one is called Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. And this was actually the first arc that I ever received and reviewed, so that's exciting. Okay, in this one we're following these 2 characters who both of their mothers used to be in this famous band before they were born. And the band had this big fallout and they broke up. And so now it's 30 years after the breakup, and the 2 main characters, whose names are Beat and Melody, which is very corny, but it is a Christmas romance, so you have to expect things to be a little bit cheesy. They have signed on to try and get their mothers back together for this like reality TV show. Cameras are going to be following them around as they try and get their mothers back together. So I said it felt like Daisy Jones and the Six meets The Parent Trap, because obviously we're following a band breakup, which is the Daisy Jones and the Six, but it's The Parent Trap because they're trying to get their parents together. Not together. That would have made it 100% better though if they were together. But yes, I did enjoy this one. I thought it was really fun, very cheesy, so don't go in expecting like the best romance ever. It is very silly cheesy. The main character was very sarcastic, which I loved. And there was a lot of banter between the 2 mothers, but I just wish like the reason for their breakup was that the mothers were actually together, because that would have just made things so much better. I recently found out, I don't know if this is just like me being slow to news, but I found out that 2 of the Spice Girls, Scary Spice and Ginger Spice, they were together, and that was like part of the whole breakup. So I wish we had like a bit of a Spice Girls moment in this book, but regardless, I thought it was really fun. There was like a miscommunication at the 50% mark, but it was resolved so quickly and talked through, and it wasn't annoying. But yeah, very cheesy. There was the line, "There's no beat without a melody," which is their 2 names, which is okay. Now I feel like it's hard to fill them in because they're all like gross. I don't know if I like this eyebrow situation. I feel like my eyebrows are like big enough as they are without making like the hairs stand up on end. I have a mascara that I already like, so I'm just going to use that. But the last one that I also had an arc of is called A Holly Jolly Ever After, which is by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This is technically a sequel. There was like a first book that came out last Christmas, but I feel like romance books, you don't have to read them in order. I do have the first book, I just haven't read it. But this one is following like an ex-boy band member and like a wholesome good girl. And she was in like Christian kind of movies, so they're both famous. But they both have starring roles in like a raunchy Christmas movie. And he previously had a sex tape go viral, whereas she waited until marriage to have her first ever kiss. So they're very different. But she's currently separating from her gross husband, and she's trying to redefine her image and fall in love with her co-star at the same time. This is definitely not the type of romance that I usually read because it is definitely a lot steamier. Like there were steamy scenes throughout the whole thing, which I'm not used to, but I did still enjoy it. I thought it was really fun. And given that she came from a religious upbringing, there was a lot of discussions about like purity culture being not the greatest on young people and their development, as well as like how women are looked at. And given that she is only just divorcing from her husband and the only person she's ever been with, if you are a fan of romances where like one character is like teaching the other one stuff in the bedroom, this definitely had that. The halfway point, there is a trope that I'm not a super big fan of, but despite it, I still did like it. It's also a very long book. It feels like we get to the third act breakup like 3 separate times. Obviously, they're not all in the third act, but we get to like the climax and then they break up and then they're back together and they break up. So that could be a good or a bad thing depending on how long you like your romances. If you like long romances, then you'll love this. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one as well. I'm going to do my lips. I was looking for, there's like a viral lip stain at the moment from this brand, but given that it's viral, I don't think I should be surprised if there was none left. Okay, I hate this. I'm going to get a different lip option. Hold on. All right, there we have the finished Christmas makeup featuring Elf because I like to give myself a challenge, as well as some Christmas books. Like I said, I have like 14 Christmas sapphic romances that I've just added to my Kindle. So I'll see how many of those I actually read in December. But let me know what your favorite Christmas books are and if you've read any of these. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.